I want to go over both the history of autistic advocacy, like the history of the organizations, as well as things the organization has done, if they're still running. Some of these are no longer up and running anymore, but I'll leave a link to an In the Loop about neurodiversity article that lists both good autistic advocacy organizations and bad ones. It's got a good list for if you're like, oh, if somebody asks you what's a good charity to help autistic people to donate to, that's a really good article. Link below. Um, so for the first one I'm going to go over, it started by someone who people seem to point to as the first autistic person to publicly push an anti-cure and autism rights message. His name is Jim Sinclair. He's an autism rights movement activist. He started in the late 1980s, and in 1992, along with other autistic advocates, started the Autism Network International, which published newsletters by and for autistic people. They also started something called Autreat in 1996, which was a yearly retreat and conference for autistics. But sadly, their last one was in 2013. It seems like 2013 is when the Autism Network International stopped because their website was last updated in 2013. And while there is a Facebook page called Autism Network International that started in 2016, I can't tell if it's run by the same people because it doesn't list any moderators or admins. I tried to find out what happened, but I couldn't find anything. It explains why this is the first time I've heard of them, though. But yeah, it seems like Autism Network International was the first sort of group pushing for autism advocacy. In 2004, Aspies for Freedom was founded by Gareth and Amy Nelson. They're the ones who established June 18th as Autistic Pride Day, starting in 2005. They were also integral in starting the protests against Cure Autism Now. The Judge Rottenberg Center, which I covered in some detail in my ABA live stream, I'll put a link below later. I forgot to this time, I think. And the National Alliance for Autism Research, which worked towards finding treatments and cures for autism and later merged with Autism Speaks. It looks like Aspies for Freedom only still really exists as a chat room for autistics. I couldn't find anything else that they've worked on since 2013, much like with Autism Network International. Aspies for Freedom created the mythos of Aspergia. I didn't know that. Thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, I'll leave a link. I left a link to the chat room if you're interested in checking it out. I don't know who runs it. I don't know if it's still them or if it's changed hands or what have you. But I checked it out. It's still up and running. In 2006, the Autism Acceptance Project, or AAP, was founded by Estee Clark and was based in Toronto, Ontario, which is awesome because that's close to where I'm from. Este is the mother of an autistic child and a marvelous example for a good neurotypical advocate for autistics. AAP is associated with the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, or ASAN, which I'll be going over next after this. It's recognized as one of the first organizations to promote autism acceptance, as well as one of the first organizations that fought against the horrid New York Child Study campaign, which was this terrible ad campaign by the New York University Child Study Center that was supposed to promote autism awareness, but did it by having the ads look like ransom notes written and sent by autism as if it was a person, saying things like, "We have your son. We will make sure he will not be able to care for himself or interact socially as long as he lives. This is only the beginning." So yeah, that was shut down, thanks to organizations like AAP and ASAN. In 2018, the AAP ceased to be, and now the founder, Este, focuses on her other projects, which involve working with autistic children to help them express themselves through art. Now we move on to ASAN, which, much like AAP, was founded in 2006, but unlike AAP, is still going strong to this day. ASAN was founded by Erin Neiman, who was fresh out of high school at the time, so that's impressive, and Scott Michael Robertson, and prides itself as being run by and for autistics. ASAN entered the public eye when they worked with AAP to fight against the New York Child Study campaign, as well as when they fought against PETA's ad campaign that claiming that milk caused autism. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like a mimicking the got milk ad that you saw everywhere, but instead of milk said got autism. They started protesting against Autism Speaks around 2007 when Autism Speaks released a documentary called Autism Every Day, which was just a bunch of interviews with mothers of autistic children and how incredibly hard their lives were because of their child's autism. ASAN still protests Autism Speaks to this day. In 2015, ASAN worked with Sesame Street Workshop to help create Julia, the autistic character on Sesame Street, the little Muppet girl. But cut ties in 2019 when Sesame Street partnered up with Autism Speaks and used and still uses Julia to promote harmful narratives about autism. ASAN hasn't just been protesting, though. They work to help autistic people in the US with employment opportunities, technical assistance, public policy analysis, and education. ASAN has many branches known as chapters in the US, Canada, and Australia. I'm going to go over 5 good organizations and 5 bad ones. So the final organization I'm going to talk about is the Autism Women and Non-Binary Network, or AWIN. It was founded in 2011 as the Autistic Women Network by Sharon Davenport and changed its name in 2018. It was started as an organization to provide community support and resources to autistic women and girls but expanded that to autistic women, girls, non-binary, and trans people, and all other marginalized genders. Their focus has been to empower those that have historically been excluded from the rather male-dominated autistic narrative. Awen is still up and running and is currently running two projects. There's their Committee on Autism and Ethnicity, which focuses on educating the public about how race and culture impact autistic identities and is run entirely by autistic people of color, as well as Divergent, which explores the impact of sexism and ableism on disabled and non-disabled communities. I wish I could talk more about their history, but there's not much about it. Maybe because it's only 10 years old, or maybe because it's more focused on what they're doing now. Um, Either way, it's also a non-profit organization like ASAN. So if anyone ever asks you for good autism advocacy organizations to donate to, they're actually run by autistics and are in no way associated with Autism Speaks. Just tell them either Asan or Awen. They're both great. Okay. Before like April of 2020, so like last year, I only heard of autism through Autism Speaks. And I went, sure glad I'm not autistic. I was wrong. Yeah, Autism Speaks gives like such a bad image for autism. And yes, Walt Fanos. Hashtag save Julia.